So Abdullah, Kubernetes domain is actually coming up, and how do you sort of like define the difference between cost optimizing strategies for cloud versus Kubernetes? And what are some of the additional things you need to consider for Kubernetes cloud environments?
Right. So Kubernetes, you're right. It's rapidly environment that is being rapidly adopted for applications, and a lot of organizations are migrating their workloads to Kubernetes. And Kubernetes has a lot of moving parts, right? So it's essentially a distributed system that has a lot of resources that it needs on its own to work out, right? And when it comes to Kubernetes, it's not just as straightforward saying that, okay, what are your node costs? That are your node costs the only things? Are your storage costs the only things? Because there are two levels of costs. One is at a higher level. So for example, when you deploy Kubernetes, you deploy a layer of network storage and compute on its own, right? So a Kubernetes node is going to run on an instance, right? So that's your compute. But once your Kubernetes workloads, there are actually fine-grained pods that run within that larger instance. So there would be a lot of different pods with different CPU requirements that actually use up the CPU that is actually provisioned for that instance. So a lot of the time what happens is what we see is people have huge instances that are provisioned, and their Kubernetes workloads take only a fraction of the CPU resources that they actually require. But they do not get insights into those by default, because their purview is at a node level that, okay, we have provisioned this CPU, this is what it's going to cost us. But it's essential that you model your application in terms of Kubernetes constructs. So there are tools like OpenCost that essentially give you insights into your Kubernetes objects and what are the cost implications of each object, reconciling it with the actual cloud usage reports, and you get insights into, okay, during my deployment, what was the cost that was associated to this unit of application within this larger unit of, let's say, instance of the CPUs. Right? And that's what really tells you that maybe I'm deploying my application with 10 pods and it uses 20% of the CPU. The rest of the 80% is never used. Right? So maybe you can reduce your instance size to just be 20% of the overall capacity that you actually needed. So essentially you have to go one level down from just at cloud cost level to get insights into the Kubernetes ecosystems.